A, lack of competition. There'll be like 100 factors in this fictional town's economy.
Okay. And she looks back and goes, yeah, and isn't the instructor handsome? Yeah.
Positioning your spine in your seat, which doesn't look very comfortable. Sorry about that. What goes wrong with the body? If the brain goes wrong, there's causes and effects just like anything else. But because we think with our brain, we struggle to frame it as a piece of biological machinery.
There is some smooth marble on the left, Mammoth Rock, and some smooth granite in the back on the right, Mammoth Crest. And that was Big Smooth playing at Distant Brewery on Sunday night. What a fun night. I've listened to some good old rock and roll. And if variety is a spice of life, it could be a spicy week. But living in the mountains can always be that way. Warm through Wednesday, chance of afternoon showers, especially on Wednesday. Then a nice weather hatch over the Easter weekend. It is Monday, April the 14th, one day to finish your taxes 2025. Yes, variety is the spice of life, and it could be a spicy week as far as the weather goes. That was Big Smooth as far as music goes last night over at Distant Brewery. So much fun watching some locals play some great rock and roll, and a lot of locals there too, new and old locals, which I won't tell you which category I'm in. So the weather could be changing throughout the week with warm weather today, chance of afternoon showers, especially on Wednesday, and then a cold front could bring light mountain snow on Thursday and Good Friday, but then nice weather hatches Easter weekend. It is Monday, April the 14th, one more day to finish your taxes or file for an extension 2025. Hello everyone, I'm Dan McConnell. So it looks like we could have a multi-day period of afternoon showers as a large-scale uplifting pattern with increasing moisture will force some isolated showers, best chances on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then later in the week, a cold front moves in with gusty north winds over the crest and cooler temperatures, and some variables that with this pattern might bring some snow into the upper elevations above 9,000 feet and much cooler weather. Still, some of the details need to be worked out, so we'll see what really happens when it happens. Then mid-50s on Saturday and Sunday, Easter Sunday. So spring snow conditions up on Mammoth Mountain. They have an 80-inch base at the main lodge, 152 inches at the top. That freeze thaw has created some great corn snow in the area. I did talk to some people that have been out in the backcountry down in the southern Sierras and Esha Canyon, and some reports of wet slides and rockfall. That's what happens in the spring. Things are moving. Variety is the spice of life. So get out there and have some fun, but be smart, be careful, and listen. It's the last week over at June Mountain, and the last couple of days of grooming up in the Lakes Basin at the Tamarack Cross Country Ski Center, where they groom trails up into the Coldwater Campground area, all the way to Lake George, over to Horseshoe Lake and Mamie. Beautiful up in the Lakes Basin to be up there when there's hardly any other people. Much different than the summertime. Let's see, what else is happening? Oh, the fishing opener is coming up on April the 26th. And on this day in history, in 1828, the first edition of Noah Webster's dictionary came out. 1828, first printed dictionary of the English language. 1865 on this day, President Abraham Lincoln was shot in the Ford Theater and actually died the next day, assassinated on this day in 1865. In 1894, the first public showing of Thomas Edison's kinetoscope, which was in the early days of motion picture display or projection. And in 1956, the Ampex Corp in Redwood City came out with the first commercial magnetic tape recorder. boy, 1980, that was 56, yeah. In 81, the first space shuttle mission ended after 36 times around the Earth's orbit. 36 times, boy, what a great ride that was. And this morning, a news journalist or morning news person, Gail King, went up to space. It was about a 10 to 12-minute flight, but they were weightless for a brief moment in time. Got to see the Earth from a totally different perspective. That was this morning. The first birthdays: actor Rod Steiger's birthday, Frank Serpico, Loretta Lynn, Pete Rose, Richie Blackmore of Deep Purple, John Bell of Widespread Panic. What a great name, Widespread Panic. And rapper Da Brat. What else? What a better name is there for rapper Da Brat? And Big Smooth last night at Distant Brewery. It's also Allie Feinberg's birthday, Jess Carell. Happy birthday, Jess, Allie. Phil DeSoto, a great guy, worked at the Mammoth School District, I believe. Are you retired now, though? Steve Shackton of the Mammoth Coffee Roasting Company. Mother, Rebecca Faith Pagel's birthday. Happy birthday, Becca, I know her as. Mark Robitaille up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Rick Sayes' birthday. Jessica Elam, who I saw last night over at Distant Brewery, and Mom. Happy birthday, Jessica. Greg Hatfield, a great friend of ours over in the Bay Area. Michael Licari down at Mountain Motors. And Aaron Van Campen, who just retired from working with the county. Happy birthday, Aaron Van Campen. Happy birthday to you if it's your birthday. Make today the best day ever. There is not a cloud in sight. But tomorrow we might see some building clouds, then a bit of snow at the end of the week, and then a nice Easter weekend. What more could you ask for? Spice of life.
So, I became a psychiatrist. Well, and like all doctors, my chosen specialty is defined by what goes wrong with the body. If the brain goes wrong, there's causes and effects just like anything else.
There he goes. There he goes. Spin that guy. Oh!